everyone, and welcome to Busybird Publishing Live on Wednesday. I have someone different with me today. This is Kev, and he is our photographer designer.
I am.
And the other half of the ownership of Busybird Publishing.
That's me. I'm always behind the camera, so it's kind of weird to kind of be here. So anyway.
Cool. So every Wednesday we check in with you for around about 20 minutes to talk about books and publishing. Now today we're going to talk about crowdfunding campaigns to raise money to fund a book. Now we have done this quite a few times successfully. The very first one was actually Kev's book, which is a hardcover coffee table book called Walk With Me. Do you want to tell us a little bit, Kev, about this book?
Well, initially, I've got to say, I'd never really heard of crowdfunding back in, it was 2014 when we did this. I think crowdfunding was, reasonably newish back then, and we just kind of had this idea that instead of, my trek to Mount Everest base camp, we could use it for something, we didn't know what, and then we thought, well, maybe we could raise some money for something, and then it started to kind of, what do we raise money for? And then it was, right underneath our nose was CMT, which is a disease our son has. And we thought, well, let's raise money for them. And then we thought, how? And then we thought, okay, well, publishers, let's do a book. And it kind of spiraled from there. And then we thought, well, we could raise money, we could sell the book, and we could get people involved with it to donate and to help with, we were just looking for money to help maybe cover the cost of printing the book and stuff like that. So we looked at crowdfunding, and as you said, I didn't really know much about it, and Blaise and I aren't great people for asking people for things, so I was quite a little uncomfortable about putting it up and asking people to donate and to get involved with it and donate money and get stuff.
So, really, we set up this possible crowdfunding campaign and we raised around $7,000.
Yeah,
which allowed us to print a book.
Yeah.
And also raise awareness for CMT, which is a disease called Charcot-Marie-Tooth syndrome. And it doesn't get a lot of funding because it's not something you can die from, but it does affect your life. And we were really happy about that. And when Kev rang the then president of the organisation, he was speechless.
It was quite emotional. He actually teared up and kind of made it worthwhile. And as I said, I think it was 78 people donated money and time and whatever. All their names in the back. There was, from people just giving straight money, and it can go up from $5 to a couple $100,
as well as
to businesses that kind of chipped in, and whatever level you donated, you could get your logo in the book, and then these people donated their time and services to actually help get the book done. So it spiraled into this massive kind of project in the end that really got so much awareness for CMT and for my trek, and then when we got back, I think we got 200 books printed, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And basically I think I've got a couple at home, whatever, but they're sold out.
So the thing about this is, for any book project, a lot of the time the money that is needed is for book printing. That is probably one of the biggest expenses, and so this allowed us to get the 200 books in hardcover, in full colour, and come up with a beautiful product. So not only did it help us raise some money, it helped us raise awareness for our cause, but it also helped us raise awareness about the book. So it's a really good sort of pre-promotional tool before a book comes out. And
it was a good actually introduction for Blaise and I to learn about crowdfunding, how it works, how you make offers and rewards, and how it all, the money thing works at the end. And as we will probably talk about in a minute, it actually, Blaise gets quite a few clients ring up, authors who want to do their book but don't have the funds, and Blaise will offer them crowdfunding as an option for them to go away and maybe crowdfund to get their book ready, and then they come back to Busybird later. So because we have faith in having done it a few times, we're very willing to give advice on how others can use it to do their projects.
And so we have got a few other books here that we use. Now we've only used Possible as a crowdfunding platform, but there are tons of them. There's so many of them. If you Google crowdfunding platforms, you'll come up probably with a list of a dozen at least. So we don't say that Possible is the best, but we have used them quite successfully. These 4 books we raised about $25,000 collectively. So another product or project we had is this bilingual kids book. It's in Afrikaans as well as English. It's a really gorgeous book to raise money for a cheetah clinic in South Africa. So we raised, just hold it up, we raised $5,000 for that, and that is a pure fundraiser for that clinic. Yep. And
she actually did really well.
Our Joffa book, which a few years down the track is still one of our best sellers in terms of
it's still going.
Books that still sell. We raised a couple of thousand for this as well. And originally, this has now been reprinted in black and white, but the first one actually had a colour insert. So that was a really good one.
And again, like Joffa didn't have much faith in the whole system either, and it kind of came through for him. He's kind of surprised as well. So it does work.
And then this book is maybe 18 months, I can't remember exactly when, 2017, late 2017, so coming up 2 years ago. This raised $10,000 in their Possible campaign. This is a book by Crossan, who has MND. And when he was diagnosed, he was given a very short amount of time to live, but he's still here and he still writes his blogs. Yep. So these are actually a collection of his blogs, and they raised $10,000. So that covered the publishing as well as a nice big chunk of money to go towards MND Victoria, which is what they wanted to raise money and awareness for.
Again, that was a suggestion Blaise gave to him to when he said he wanted to do a book and, money, blah, blah. Blaise went and set him up and helped him do the whole page and everything, and $10,000 in a book later, it worked. So.
Now the best thing I think about doing a crowdfunding campaign is it's a way of you finding out who might be or whether a book is going to take off, because these books we did do one other crowdfunding campaign that didn't really take off, so we shelved the idea because we thought, well, people liked it. We did get some supporters because they're supporters of us, not just the book, but it's a really good way of actually testing if your book is going to actually do anything in the marketplace, and it's a good way of pre-selling books.
Yeah, it's a good. I was about to say it's a good way of, we always, like everything Blaise says with marketing books, if you've got a little hook or some kind of thing to get people's attention, that's really good. And as I said, we're big believers as well as your marketing should start before you even kind of have the book in your hand. So you should be getting people wanting your book while you're writing it, and you post and you blog and you whatever, and people are like, when's it out? And then here it is. So it's a good way of kind of promoting its coming kind of thing as well.
And you'll notice that there's one commonality between all of these books, and they all give back to something.
Yep.
And a lot of books actually at Busybird Publishing do give back. The ones that we do ourselves, that we personally publish.
We always give back.
But we encourage people. Who are publishing, and if they're going to go try and do some crowdfunding, that it's a nice thing to be able to give back.
Yeah. And
it actually helps the campaign as well. And if the book, obviously this book gives to something that's very close to Graham's heart, because it's about his life really, MND. So it was very appropriate that he gives money back to that.
And a lot of people don't know that Joffa wears the gold jacket in support of epilepsy, which his daughter has.
Yeah. So that book gives back.
So they just think he's this kind of bogan, in behind the goals of Collingwood, just flouting around in a gold jacket and being a smartass, but he's not. He's actually, it has epilepsy on it, and he wears it to things, he does speeches, he does everything to, and money is donated from this book to epilepsy. So it's a cause close to Joffa's heart as well.
So that is something to think about if you are going to do crowdfunding.
Yep.
And it feels good to give back to something as well. I've actually lost track. I know this book gave back, actually all the sales were going straight back to MND, so over $5,000 just off the top of my head that they gave back to MND Victoria. The Cheetah book, all of the money was going, all the sale money was going back to
setting up the
their
Cheetah
clinic.
Yep.
And obviously epilepsy is getting money as it sells, and it's still selling.
We actually donated some books to epilepsy so they could sell them in-house and make money and stuff like that. So,
yeah, so there's lots of good ways. And, I guess too, if you're associating with another organisation, that kind of magnifies your promotional power as well.
Just be aware also there's different types of, as I said, the crowdfunding has taken off and everyone's kind of into it at the moment, but like Possible, which is the one we did for these ones, when people donate and you say you want $5,000, $10,000, whatever, if you don't reach that figure, then the Possible campaign doesn't go ahead. People get their money back unless you reach the target figure that you want. But there are a lot out at the moment that do just give the money no matter what money they get to.
So even if it's $500.
Yeah, if you want $3,000, you get $500, and the person who donated still has to give the money. So just be aware when you're looking at crowdfunding, the type of crowdfunding it is. There's some, crowdfunding people that take quite a bit of percentage out of it. Some do it for free.
Possible does take, I think it's about 4.5%.
Yeah, which is fine. They do all the setup. But there are some that do it for free. I think we were Googling it earlier this year for another client, and we looked at all different ones, and there's but most of them work on the reward system. So if someone donates $20, they get I remember with mine they got a postcard of an image from Everest. If they donated $200, they got their logo in the book, plus they got a certificate and a big poster, and so you got to reward people for the amount they give. So
so we highly recommend that you look at crowdfunding.
Yeah.
And even if you don't want to go the full, because it takes a bit of work to set up a crowdfunding campaign, and it's not going to work unless you do it properly. And you also then, while the campaign's going, and it might be 30 or 45 days, depending on how long you set the program for, you need to keep pushing it. You need to keep telling people about it. So if you don't want something that big, even just pre-selling your books, get a cover created, put something up online, whether it's on a website or whether it's through Facebook, you can start pre-selling the book, and that will help you fund the printing.
And also realise, as I said before, it is, you are asking people for money, and it's a bit kind of, but if you've got a good, I had a great cause with this CMT. It was raising awareness. The Bent Thumb, Joffa had a great cause. If you believe in your cause and it's for your story and a cause, then people will be okay to donate. So don't be afraid to. As Blaise said, you got to keep publicising it and talking about it. You're not hounding people for money. You're saying, hey, get behind me on this cause. So think about it like that, rather than just asking people for money for no reason.
Yeah, because they're getting something in return.
Yeah, they're getting,
for it. Okay, that's enough about crowdfunding.
All right.
Short shout out to Bernadette Stewart Landers.
Hi Bernadette, how you going?
Yeah. Hi.
Hope you're out enjoying the sun today while it lasts. Now, what else is happening at Busybird?
The year's going way too quick, and we're now thinking of, Blaise is talking, we've got to sit down and really nut out next year and everything. Like seriously, since we've got a new website, we're kind of really focused on being way more organised and way more clear on what we offer, and not offering too much, because we used to do way too many workshops and stuff. So we've cut it back, and we just do the ones that we know people want.
So speaking of workshops, we have on the 12th of October we have a one-day book camp that I'll be running, and we have our excellent manuscript competition, which is which closes on the 15th of September. That's where you can pitch your book, and you might win an assessment of it, which is very valuable in the development of a book.
Mm-hmm.
We have our Bali retreat, which is definitely 100% going ahead in the first week of November. So if you have a book and you've been struggling, or a book idea, or you've been working on a book and you're really struggling with getting it done, we are going to really break the back of your project in that week. You may not, some people might actually finish their book, but if not, you're going to get a really good amount done on it, and you're going to have a really good idea of where you're going with it after that. Part of the program is pre-planning before the retreat and then post-mentoring afterwards. So we really want people to get there.
It's not just a retreat, you come and we leave you. It's you're
you
part of...
You can have a massage.
Yeah, no, but like anything with Busybird, once you do that, you're part of the family. You come back, you can always contact Blaise, and she'll mentor you through right to the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else? There's quite a few little things coming up, so just check out our website because we have all our workshops on there. We obviously have our open mic night once a month. We launched Untitled last week. We had a great launch. We've sold out, so I just ordered some more. So that's really good. And just keep an eye out on what's happening.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you next week. See ya.